Welcome back. Gold Star families of service members killed during Biden's botched withdrawal from Afghanistan. They're speaking out against Vice President Kamala Harris now. She's attacking former President Trump on X for his visit to Arlington National Cemetery. She writes this: the former president disrespected sacred ground, all for the sake of a political stunt. A member of Trump's staff reportedly getting into an altercation with cemetery staff over the right to film the visit. Gold Star families responding to Harris's criticism of the former president. Watch this.
Why did we want Trump there? It wasn't to help his political campaign. We wanted a leader. That explains why you and Joe didn't get a call.
We invited President Trump. We are the ones that asked for the video and the pictures to be taken. President Trump has been there for us from the very beginning, when our son and the other 12 of his brothers and sisters in arms were murdered due to your negligence and uncaring attitude towards our military.
Vice President Harris, I ask you, why won't you return a call and explain to us how you call my daughter-in-law's death a success? Vice President Harris, why will you not express your condolences yourself? Why have we never heard from you?
Wow, there it is. Joining me now, Florida Congressman Michael Waltz, a member of the House Oversight, Armed Services, and Foreign Affairs Committees, as well as the Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and the Trump Assassination Task Force. He is also a retired Green Beret and National Guard Colonel. Congressman, good to see you. Thanks so much for being here. Thank you for your incredible service to our country. Your reaction to what you just heard from those Gold Star families?
Well, Maria, the gall of the campaign, of the Harris campaign, after 3 years, these families have not received a call. They haven't received a visit. They haven't received so much as even a mention in any type of public speech in 3 years. And now she's going to come out public in this way against President Trump, who took the time, not just at Arlington, but at the convention, then also with all of us at Bedminster, and had dinner with them, met with them, heard from each one individually, and importantly, promised them accountability and promised them transparency when he's back in office. Maria, I was there. I can tell you that the Trump campaign had no intention of having the photographers even out of the van at all. But the families asked for it and said they wanted the world to see this moment and to see their loved ones being remembered. And just one other point, I visited Section 60 dozens of times in the 24 years since 9/11. I have Green Berets buried there. My fellow service members and I always take photos. We share those photos. We email them around. We send them to the family members. We post them online. And so now for the hypocrisy of the media and the Harris campaign to say, oh, whoa, you can't do this on your sites, President Trump, after the Biden and now Harris campaign had a highly produced video from a military cemetery in Europe hitting President Trump. This is probably one of the most despicable days I've seen in my time in office.
Well, I mean, look, we talk so much on this program about economic policy and the sky-high inflation that the Biden-Harris team has sparked. But when you consider foreign policy, it's actually much worse. I mean, they've been trying to micromanage Israel from day one. President Biden is still slamming Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week for not doing enough, he claims, to secure a ceasefire deal. As he and the vice president now headed into the Situation Room yesterday, get a briefing from the hostage deal negotiating team following the murder of 6 Israeli hostages by Hamas over the weekend, including one Israeli-American, 23-year-old Hirsch Goldberg, Poland. Prime Minister Netanyahu apologized to the hostage families. He vowed to make Hamas pay a very heavy price for those killings as protests are breaking out in Israel and in New York City. Congressman, what to think about what happens next here as this team attacks Netanyahu literally during the fight of his life?
Maria, like so much of the rest of the Biden-Harris foreign policy, it has the completely wrong strategic framework. their entire approach has been to pressure Israel. Why? Because of their progressive left. If they can only just get to some type of ceasefire, then they can make this issue go away, get it off the headlines, and quiet down the protests that are about to kick off again on college campuses around the country.
Right.
And they're worried about Michigan and losing Michigan. This is all about domestic politics. If they would shift their approach and pressure Iran and pressure Hamas, then they would get to the place where we need to be, which is the destruction of Hamas and the prevention of any future October 7th. That is what Bibi Netanyahu is focused on, and that is right for the future security of his country.
I mean, our prayers go out with these poor families who've lost their loved ones.
Absolutely.
They were murdered in Rafah. Is that not the exact region that Kamala Harris said do not go into, telling Israel don't go into Rafah? And Israel kept coming back saying we have to go to Rafah. That's where the terrorists are. And here we have the 6
That's
murders.
where the hostages were.
Right. That's where the hostages were. Right. Exactly. And that's where the hostages were. That's where Hamas is.
She said she checked.
Yeah.
She said she checked the maps, remember, just like she was the last person in the room when Biden decided on Afghanistan. And like Biden, she is wrong on every foreign policy and national security event that they have come across. The world is on fire because of it. Deterrence is deteriorating because of it. And again, they're focused on our allies rather than on our enemies.
Well, this is all why policy is so critical here with less than 70 days before the election. Congress is back in session next week. Possible government shutdown now is looming at the end of September. Another continuing resolution. But as I had been reporting, House Speaker Mike Johnson is considering that CR and attaching a CR to the SAVE Act. He wants to extend government funding through March of 2025 and link it to the SAVE Act. If passed, this bill would help secure the upcoming election by preventing non-citizens from voting. But, Congressman, you know this SAVE Act is not going to go anywhere in the Senate. Your thoughts on attaching the SAVE Act to the CR?
Well, I think, look, at the end of the day, Maria, this is about the future of our elections. This is about the integrity of our republic. And when you have nearly 20 million illegal immigrants that have flowed across our border, when you see municipalities like Washington, D.C., San Francisco, Manhattan allowing non-citizens to vote, what is the issue with ensuring and mandating that states ensure that everyone voting is an actual citizen of the United States? And by the way, the SAVE Act passed with Democrat votes, 5 Democrat votes, and more expressed privately that they absolutely wanted to. So are they really going to shut down the government over allowing illegals to vote in our elections? I mean, is that what I think that's what we're going to put before the Senate? And let the Senate answer that question to the American people.
Why wouldn't Chuck Schumer bring it to the floor?
Exactly. Allow it to have a vote. But, you know, there's all kinds of things I'd love to answer to that question, including sanctions on China for buying illegal Iranian oil that's funding the war in Israel. So there are all kinds of things that Schumer should bring to the floor. But we're going to make him answer that question before the American people. I think this is the right call by Speaker Johnson.
I mean, I believe a bill in California is banned about showing voter ID. I mean, you're banned from showing voter ID when you go to vote. It's absolutely insanity.
Literally, Maria, you should show the dozens of countries that request the very basics of show your ID, show that you're a citizen before you have the right to vote.
Understood.
It's truly fundamental.
Good to see you this morning, sir. We'll keep a spotlight on it. Thank you. Congressman Michael Waltz joining us this morning.